everybody, Young Grasshopper here. Welcome to the Cliffside Bunker in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And this is another episode of Battleboard Basics. And as you can see here, my table is cluttered. Can't do much in the way of content, but definitely can give you guys another Battleboard Basics video. It's a tutorial for playing Axonali's 1940 Global 2nd Edition. Just showing you guys the ins and outs of a resolve combat phase. And in this particular attack, it's happening in C-Zone 6. That's adjacent to Tokyo. That's why we have the 3 fighters here as a possible scramble. And these 2 fighters on the defending carrier. Now, these 3 American ships came from Hawaii. They're the only ships, or the only units that can reach C-Zone 6. And the Japanese player feels like they're pretty safe, even though they don't have a defending destroyer. They feel pretty safe with the amount of aircraft. They're getting 5 at 4 on defense, and the carrier, which is getting a roll at 2 or less. Now, these here seem very, very vulnerable, and you wouldn't normally do this just simply because the odds are way against you. But if we remove the destroyer, even though that it can reach from Hawaiian Islands, if you do not take it and take just the 2 submarines, it changes the battle drastically. And I'll explain. So submarines in this game get something called a surprise strike. It's one of their abilities. And if there's no defending destroyer, which in this case there is no defending destroyer, then that special ability will play in. And the surprise strike for attacking submarines basically means that whatever they hit, the defender does not get to roll back. Now, in most situations, as you've seen in this series, when the attacker rolls, then hits are put to the casualty line, and they get to roll back before they are ultimately destroyed. However, submarines, when they hit on attack, the defender does not get to roll back. Now, also too, aircraft can never hit submarines unless there is a defending destroyer. And in this case, again, there is no defending destroyer. So this is why the battle has changed. With 2 attacking submarines only, the defending aircraft don't play in. And this is where people get caught off guard. They think that they have 5 planes, an aircraft carrier to protect those 2 transports. But with the 2 attacking submarines, the attacker actually has the odds. Now, this particular battle will remove any possible scramble ability coming from Tokyo. And these here, even though they are on the carrier, if the carrier gets damaged or destroyed, they may safely land in Tokyo. It's an adjacent territory that Japan controls. Now, we're just going to leave them here on the board like this. They do not play in on this battle. So now we have 2 at 2 or less for the attacker and 1 at 2 or less for the defender. Let's roll it out. There's a lot at stake here for Japan. They're going to lose a $16 carrier and 2 transports at $14 total. So that's $12 here for these. It's worth the risk. I would do this all day long. And the Japanese definitely don't want to lose a carrier. So no defending destroyer. We're going to roll the 2 submarines. Surprise strikes. And they miss completely. The defending carrier hits. Wow. That changes things. Changes the odds. They're going to keep going because there's still a good chance that they can win this. The submarine hits. Now that's an automatic hit. The carrier is damaged immediately, and these 2 must land in Tokyo They cannot land back on the carrier. A little bit more even. Now, because the surprise strike did not kill the unit completely, carriers require 2 hits to sink. They're going to get a shot back, and they can just completely ignore this nuisance by hitting here, and they do. So very lucky, very lucky. All right, so the transports are safe. Now, the attacker, of course, in that battle had the odds, and that's just the way this battle went. But you saw how many dice that those attacking submarines had. They only needed 1 more. But the carrier rolled 100% on 2 combat rounds to get rid of those subs, and the subs just didn't do the job. Now, if it was the submarine that hit there and not the carrier, then all of this would be destroyed. And that's the reason why you want to try that. Now, something that I may not have brought up is that transports do not get any dice. Whether attacking, defending, they do not roll at all. Therefore, if there's only 1 transport in a C zone and 1 sub or 1 destroyer or 1 aircraft or 1 bomber or 1 battleship, whatever it is, comes in, anything with a attacking value, that is going to be what we call an auto kill. So very lucky for the Japanese, who were able to save their transports from that sneaky attack. But just remember, when facing things like a carrier that is loaded, when you have subs, it's not as dangerous. It may look powerful, but without a defending destroyer with it, that's all that's needed. Now, if this carrier was out in an open sea zone without an adjacent territory that they control, and the 2 subs end up killing or damaging, don't even have to kill it, even if they just damage the carrier like so, then the fighters are lost. They don't have an adjacent territory. They're allowed 1 movement point to land somewhere safe, and if they're in an open sea zone without any land territories adjacent, then 1 hit is all that's needed to destroy those 2 fighters. Now, Japan would keep their carrier that's damaged if they destroyed those like we saw in the demonstration, but without an adjacent territory, the fighters have no place to land because you're not allowed to land on a damaged carrier. I hope that was helpful, guys. I'm glad that I was able to do something, put something out for you guys. I noticed that there are a couple of new players that have discovered Axis and Allies again, and they're using this channel to learn the game, and I hope that was helpful. Cheers, guys. I hope to bring out more content for you guys, more tutorials, more battleboard basics, just to help teach you the game, more strategy videos coming up. But of course, I've got quite the task in front of me of organizing all my pieces, dividing them into sets, and I'll try and do what I can with the limited resources that I have without my table surface here. Okay, guys, cheers. Thanks a lot. May all your rolls be ones. Take care.